Welcome back, Idiots Squared. Today, we have some breaking news. Research scientists in Korea seem to have produced the world's first room temperature superconductor. Now, if this is true and it is reproducible, this will be a game changer. This has huge implications. This is something that humanity has been trying to do for quite some time, and it's massive. Polsker, I've sent you a little bit of information. What's your initial reaction?
Why temperature? Why is temperature a thing? Why is that like badass as fuck?
Having it at room temperature.
Yeah.
So because previously the only way that we've been able to get superconducting is by cooling it to near absolute zero. So we'd have to cool the materials down to an incredibly low temperature, like almost zero, to get the superconducting properties. And so by being able to have this at room temperature, broadly what it sort of means for quantum computing is that you could have a quantum computer on your desk. Whereas now the only, I don't even know if they're real quantum computers, but the things that are getting close to being quantum computers have to be cooled to just like ridiculous temperatures, like low temperatures, in order to work. And so if you look at a quantum computer, which I can get a picture up in a second, like they're humongous, but the chip is like tiny, like it's incredibly small, but you have to have this giant apparatus around it to cool the chips or the qubits down to almost zero, absolute zero, for it to work. So by being able to have these run at room temperature, it means you can get rid of all of that apparatus because you don't need the cooling, which is insane. But that's why.
Why is it that it needs to be cooled for in order I guess could we call it the conduction? Oh my god, the conduction. Conduction. Yeah.
Yes.
For the conduction to be propagated more rapidly. Fuck, I can't get that word.
Conduction.
Yeah. So temperature has an important role, and when it's really cold, you can get that to go at higher speeds. But when it's a room temperature, it's too slow and it's inefficient. Is that right?
Yes. So it's firstly, okay, let's just start with like a broad sort of like very coarse-grained, what is temperature? So if you think of temperature as like the jiggly-ness of something, right? So the more something is jiggling or vibrating or moving around, the hotter it is, right? That's higher temperature. And then as you cool things, it's less and less jiggly, right? So if you cool something to absolute zero, right, which isn't 0 degrees Celsius, it's 0 degrees Kelvin, then it ceases to exist, right? So like anything, like all the things that make us up or everything that's matter in the universe has some sort of oscillation, right? There's some sort of vibration or movement to it. And so as you approach absolute zero, that oscillation gets slower and slower and slower, reduces to the point where if it got to absolute zero, it would cease to exist. Okay? So why is temperature important? Well, when you are using metals to transport electrons, there's a level of resistance, and that resistance comes from like the jiggliness. So as the electron's trying to go, the jiggliness in the material can interact or bounce or collide or cause a collision with those electrons, and then you sort of lose them, right? They bounce out. But with typical superconductors, as you cooled it down, there's less and less of that jiggliness so that the electrons have a clearer path, right? Which means they can flow with less resistance. Now, interestingly enough, what makes a toaster is the resistance in the material that is the electrode. Not the electrodes, it's the resistance in the material. And so what they're doing there is they're using those collisions to produce heat, or the byproduct is heat, and then that heat toasts your toast. Okay, so we're looking for inefficient things for toasters.
Just to get this straight, guys. Sorry to cut you off. So in the toaster heats up because it's letting out the heat because it's so inefficient that the energy has to go somewhere. So it's releasing that as heat, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then that's what's toasted the toast. But
Correct.
When you have a conductor that has very low resistance, it won't be producing that heat because the energy is being used via another way, not as heat.
Well, the electrons are just getting transported through instead of being lost or collided out as heat.
Right. Okay.
Superconductors are essentially like there's no resistance there. So the electrons have a clean path. Whereas in things that have resistance, they don't have a clean path. And then we lose some of the energy as heat. And heat is like less useful for certain things. And so in another example would be electric cars. So in electric cars, you have loss because of the inefficiencies, and a byproduct of that is heat. So then you have to cool the batteries down. You have to cool the components down using heat pumps and a bunch of other stuff, which requires energy as well. And so it's like double inefficient, if that makes sense.
Elon's going to love this technology, guy.
Yeah, well, like everyone should love this technology because it means that you can have, almost, or it like theoretically, it's zero loss power transmission or energy transmission. So we don't lose it anymore. So this is like, the kind of stuff that may make almost perpetual motion machines possible, kind of thing. So the reason why perpetual motion isn't possible is because you have that loss of heat with the interactions or the, collisions or whatever in the system. So that's why we don't have 100% efficiency, but this is kind of something that, opens the door to getting closer and closer to that.
Shit, guy. So these Korean scientists have found a way to solve the temperature problem. Is that correct?
Well, they've found a way to get superconductivity via a different mechanism, which is these, they call them superconducting quantum wells, which is kind of like this, different way of achieving that same thing. And the way they've done it is fascinating because it's like an incredibly primitive method that they used to make this material. Now, the material, they've called it LK99. And I can give you I'll just quickly read the abstract of the paper. So for the first time in the world, we succeeded in synthesizing the room temperature superconductor with a critical temperature greater than or equal to 400 degrees Kelvin, which is 127 degrees. Working at ambient pressure with a modified lead apatite LK99 structure. The superconductivity of LK99 is proven with the critical temperature, TC, zero resistivity, critical current, IC, critical magnetic field, HC, and the Meissner effect. The superconductivity of LK99 originates from the minute structural distortion by a slight volume shrinkage of 0.48%, not by external factors such as temperature and pressure. The shrinkage is caused by Cu2 plus substitution of Pb2 ions in the insulating network of Pb2 phosphate, and it generates the stress. It concurrently transfers Pb1 of the cylindrical column, resulting in distortion of the cylindrical column interface, which creates superconducting quantum wells in the interface. The heat capacity results indicated that the new model is suitable for explaining the superconductivity of LK99. The unique structure of LK99 that allows the minute distorted structure to be maintained in the interfaces is the most important factor that LK99 maintains and exhibits superconductivity at room temperature and ambient pressure. So just quickly, they've sort of done this with lead, copper, and red phosphate. And these aren't like exotic sort of things, like they're relatively abundant and, accessible. And
I think there was one more. I think there was one more, Rubes. There was four things. There was four elements that they used.
Yeah, I think it's Cu2. No, I think it's, lead, copper, and different forms of
regardless, it
phosphate.
was a snipe that they were able to create it with such like little elements and at a low cost as well. That's what's significant about that, I believe.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing, so if you go, which we will do, but you go through and you read the method, right? And they're like, yes, and we combined these things, we used a mortar and pestle Like the tub and the grinding thing.
Oh,
So like,
really?
yeah. So like,
Oh shit, that's funny. That's funny.
hella basic. There were some
Oh
other
yeah.
things where they had to pull quite a good vacuum and do some other stuff, but like, it's hella basic. So what's really interesting about this now is, obviously, you sort of are a little bit skeptical hearing about these things because such claims have been made previously. But there are a number of people who are currently trying to replicate this on Twitter, and I would assume soon to be on YouTube as well. So like, how long till we have
There's been a couple of scams.
Really? Okay, I'll wrap it up. So, I'm excited because how long is it? Like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we see YouTubers starting to do this or trying to replicate the results of this. There's already people on Twitter who are live streaming the process. Like they've got the materials. They are replicating the method used to make it, and so like within a few weeks or months, we might be able to see how legit this thing is. So yeah, it's like hella exciting.
So what is important about the ambient pressure? Why is that significant?
So previously, there's a guy that claimed another group of people had claimed that they'd been able to make a room temperature superconductor, but it had to be done at incredibly high pressures, right? And so the pressure is sort of like forces it to get that alignment so it can have that smooth transition or that frictionless transmission. Whereas this has been done at room temperature and at ambient pressure, which means you don't need those incredibly high pressures. So anytime you need to create, a really low temperature or a really high pressure or even like a really low pressure, that requires energy and work to do it. So you have to spend energy to get those results. Whereas with this one, it's like, it's kind of like you get it all kind of for free in a sense. Like you don't have to do all that and you get these amazing benefits. So that's it's incredibly scalable.
So what I heard is that there's been attempts before to say that they have like solved this issue, and other studies have come out and they couldn't replicate them, right? And they found there was like fabrications in the numbers or something along those lines. So these papers were never retracted. So people are very skeptical about this one that has just come out. So correct. I guess we will see, but it's very, very exciting.
Yeah. So it's important to note that the papers that you're talking about, they were using different things and they were claiming it under different criteria. So one that I think you might specifically be talking about is the one at incredibly high pressures. And I think it was an Indian group or an Indian guy. And then they published the paper, then the paper got retracted because no one was able to replicate it. And there was claims of data manipulation and some fuckery going on. But this is a different mechanism. And it's like a really novel mechanism that the superconducting quantum wells is like a way we kind of didn't really like think about kind of thing. So it's just like a different way of getting superconducting, which is fascinating, like really fascinating when you think about it.
What's important or what's significant about having computers with quantum computers? What applications would that have for like everyday people?
Well, it depends on which camp you're in, so to speak. So quantum computers, there's a thing called Shor's algorithm, which essentially, if you can, Shor's algorithm, only runs on a quantum computer, or you can only run it effectively on a quantum computer, in theory. And so if quantum computers are possible and we can run Shor's algorithm on a quantum computer, it renders the algorithm that renders the security of Bitcoin redundant. So you could hack all of the private keys, and so Bitcoin would become redundant if that's a thing. But so quantum computers are promised to be able to solve very complex, very hard mathematical problems in faster amounts of time. So things that would be sort of largely impractical to try and solve, or almost impossible to solve, are now solvable with quantum computers. I can give a quick, brief rundown. So I know how to explain it in the Wolfram thing, but then Wolfram doesn't think that quantum computers are going to be a thing. He reckons it's just going to be the same. But people who do believe that quantum computing is the next thing, it gives us more computational powers. We're essentially leveraging the branching effects of the quantum realm to solve problems. And so it allows us to solve like NP problems in P time or in polynomial time. I think that would be a safe thing to say.
So they would make, basically it would make the quantum computer smaller, right? Because it wouldn't need that cooling system. Is that right?
Yeah, it would make the entire setup smaller. And so if quantum computers are a thing, if quantum computing is a huge speed up beyond just regular computation, then this would make it possible for, quantum computers, it would make it more possible. It would make it easier. It would make it more accessible to everybody. So you, like, at the moment, the only people that can really have or develop quantum computers are like humongous tech companies or governments, just because of the amount of overheads that go into all the equipment and maintaining it and doing all that sort of stuff. Whereas if this is real and quantum computing is real, then this would mean that it's like accessible for humanity.
Jesus, guy, sorry, guy. I'm tripping out, guy. I think I smoked too much weed before this one. Fuck. This is tripping me out. Holy, I need to take a break for a second. Jesus Christ.
It's a game changer.
You're filling me up with mad knowledge, guy. Holy shit. You're ejaculating deep in my glutes, guy, with this information. Holy fuck. I'm having a hard time absorbing all this jizz, guy. Yo, well, like, let's do like one little bit at a time. All right.
I'm a little bit overhyped as well. Like I'm struggling to string my sentences together because I'm like, there's so many things to go in with this. And each one of these is like a huge long conversation in and of itself. And so like, we have to sort of skim across and just be very coarse grained to start with. And then like, we can go over this over the coming weeks and as things develop.
Oh, I like this. A development, guy. First development on Idiots Squared podcast, guy. All right. This sounds
I think it'd be interesting to follow the progress, right? Like, even if it is bullshit, like, I think there's still a bunch of cool shit in here. Like, even these the superconducting quantum wells are fascinating.
What other applications would it have?
Well, so like zero loss or near zero loss energy transmission. So like when you generate power at a power station and then you have to transmit it somewhere, there's an inherent loss. So like if you generate 100 units of energy, the longer you transmit that over the wires, the more energy you lose. So you never end up with 100% at the destination. You always lose energy. And this would essentially allow it to be lossless in some sense.
Lossless energy
transmission.
Okay. So I think one of the examples in the video I watched was you'd be able to charge things more efficiently.
Yes.
For example, like cell phones, cars.
Yeah, like
Elon Musk
phones.
Elon probably has a boner right now, hoping this shit fucking works. Imagine being able to charge Teslas that fast. I think they would start selling a lot more if this technology works like it says it does.
Guy, it's not just the charging though. It's like the range of them would be increased as well, because you're not having the losses along the system. Like, you lose so much of the electricity or the electrons to heat essentially through inefficiencies. And so by optimizing that, or by having near lossless transmission, everything becomes so much more efficient. So the range of your car or the Tesla would increase. The life of your battery on your cell phone would increase. Like, you wouldn't have to charge it as much. So you know what I mean? Like, you use less electricity, but you get so much more. So it's like, it really is like another industrial revolution if this is real. And the fact that they did it with just such basic shit, it means that, like, not necessarily average Joe, but like, someone with a decent knowledge of chemistry can fucking replicate this, and it's cool as shit. And there are people currently live streaming the process on Twitter. Like, there's people doing this in real time, like doing it. So yeah, I think the only bottleneck so far has been getting access to the red phosphorus. And so like a bunch of the sites that sell that were crashing because of the amount of people jumping on trying to buy it. And then there's I think there might be an FDA thing about phosphorus as well, but like only certain people can buy it. But besides that, like, well, you can make your own as well. But anyway, tangent upon tangent.
How can we invest in phosphorus then, Guy? Or how can we invest in this technology?
Yeah, well, so one thing would be is like, maybe buy some stocks that are involved in mining lead and copper and phosphorus.
Shit, Guy.
Yeah.
Could be a good bet. Well, it's a risk because we don't know for sure yet, but why not? I put a load in there, Guy. Never know.
No risk, no reward. So yeah, but that could be one thing to be mindful of. So yeah, maybe looking at the metals exchanges and seeing what's fucking around there. But yeah, it's insane. And there's some interesting stuff. So they originally published a paper with 6 authors. And then there's like this thing about the Nobel Prize that only 3 people can win the Nobel Prize. So then they published another paper with just 3 authors on it. And so a lot of people online are...
that's weird.
Well, no, but it's like bullish in a sense, because they're like, they're really getting ready for this thing.
Yeah, but like are they implying that they deserve the Nobel Prize, or are they doing it as a strategic thing to get chosen? You know what I mean? Like, well, it seems like they're trying to project.
Yeah, but it also seems as if they're preparing for it at the same time. So they, is it one or the other? We don't know yet. Only time will tell. But like, it could be interpreted as like a very bullish sort of thing. But yeah, it's bonkers.
I'm struggling over here, Guy. I'm struggling. This was a bad idea to blaze before, because like I'm like overstimulated now. Fuck, I'm overstimulated over here, guys. This sounds fucking nuts. I'm thinking like, okay, so if I'm just trying to think of like what is the application for everyday people, and I get it makes certain things faster, more convenient, but I'm trying to think of what other applications could this be used for? Like, I guess creating energy itself, right?
No, but transmitting it, yes.
Okay, so what would that mean for like a nuclear power plant?
Well, it means that the energy generated, or that's the energy unlocked from the nuclear reaction, from the power plant, can be transmitted around the world with almost zero loss. So it's improving the efficiency of our energy transmission.
So we would need to produce less energy, like, to break. Well, we're probably always going to need to produce more because we're growing and the economy this needs to continue growing and everything else. But what I'm saying is, like, if we changed today to like a new grid with this technology, then we would need to produce a lot less energy, right? Because it's a lot more efficient. So you don't need as much power. Correct?
Yes. But so instead of producing less, we would produce the same amount, but we would be able to do more with that same amount.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, imagine your dollar went further. You don't need to earn more. All of a sudden you can do more with your dollar because your dollar is going further. You're not getting hammered. Okay, imagine like if there were taxes and stuff like that, like you could do a lot more with your money because you're not losing money to tax, kind of thing.
What are energy companies going to do then?
I would say likely invest in the technology.
Yeah, you have to, right? Either jump on board or you're done.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, it's fascinating. So yeah, this will have huge implications for energy transmission, for computing, both like traditional and quantum computing. Another thing that this makes possible is like, have you ever seen those levitating trains? Right. So like
like the maglev trains.
That's right. That's exactly what this can lead to, that Meissner effect. Right. So one big thing with trains is like trains are very efficient, don't get me wrong, but they still have inefficiencies. Like because the train is in contact with the rails, that you lose some of the energy through friction and through heat as well, right? So by not having the train be in contact with anything, it's levitated by magnetism, right? Then it's friction, like, not frictionless, because you still have friction from the air, like colliding with the molecules in the air. But you lose all of that friction from the tracks and from the
Right.
wheels on the tracks. And so train
Right.
become more efficient. So you can, like, essentially, if there was no resistance, like no air resistance and no resistance from the tracks and the wheels, if you just pushed a train, it would just keep going, right? Like you could just put one little bit of energy in and it would just keep going. And so
Could it be
this
faster?
makes, well, yeah, because it's easier to accelerate because you're not losing energy through friction.
Right, but the top speed though, because we can't accelerate like too much because there's people inside, right? But what about the top speed of it though?
Yeah. All of it's increased because of the efficiency. Like, so to get faster and faster, you have to put more and more energy in, right, to overcome the friction in the environment, right?
Yeah.
And so by like taking away one of those like whole aspects of friction, it just means you can put less in and get the same out.
How fast do you think these trains could be, guy? Because right now, I think the fastest ones are like between 300 and 400 kilometers an hour.
Guy, if you put these in a vacuum tube, right? So there's a vacuum tube so that you're not getting any of that resistance from the air.
No, I mean without the vacuum. Yeah.
No, I'm saying with the vacuum tube. Like this is Tesla have Elon Musk has a thing trying to develop a hyperloop, right? That's what the hyperloop essentially is. So if you do that plus the magnetic levitation, so you have it in a vacuum tube and it's magnetically levitated, it's fucking, these things would be ridiculous. Like you could get from here to anywhere in like a very short period of time. The only limit would be the human body's ability to maintain its structure under extreme acceleration and speed.
How fast do you think it could be without the tube though? Like if we compared it to the fastest train right now, just change that one technology, so just that one thing, but you still have the same wind resistance, like normal. You know what I mean? How much faster do you think it would be?
Well, you could easily double it.
Shit, guy, 800. Imagine going 800 kilometers an hour on a train.
Yeah, you could easily double it.
Have you been on a train before that goes like over 300?
No, I have not been on the super fast trains. I've only been on the slow older trains.
It takes a second. Yeah, like when you first get on it, you're what's it called? Like when you're on the edge of your seat, anticipating.
Yeah.
You're anticipating the speed, right? And you get up to around 200, you're like, holy fuck, this is fast. Like it's going to go 100 more. And when it gets up to, I think they get like over 300. I believe that's what I remember seeing on the speedometer. It's like, holy fuck, you are moving, bro. It's wild. It's like, holy shit. Like it's crazy fast.
Shit happens quick. So like,
I don't know if they can have windows going 800. Imagine having windows.
Negative.
And it going 800, guy?
You can't have windows, guy. It becomes very dangerous. But like, it makes so much stuff possible. It's really, really fascinating. And yeah, if true, this is just huge. The implications are massive. And there's so much stuff that this will impact that we don't even know about yet, right? Like there's so many other, other uses and implications that we won't even know about just yet. It's bonkers. It's a really exciting time to be alive. So like we've had this huge paradigm shift with the AI ML stuff. And now we're getting this on top of it. If it's true and it's replicable, it's just like shit's accelerating at a rate we've never even fucking experienced before. Like it's bonkers.
I agree. It is a great time to be alive. Everything is so interesting right now. Everything, even all the fucked up shit's kind of interesting.
There is so much information, and it can be overwhelming. This is the sort of stuff that like can force you to have to update your world model dramatically, which can be a very tough process. And,
Are you talking about religion, guy? What are you talking about?
All of these things, it all ties in. Like this kind of stuff. Okay, like there's this, and then there's like a whole other breakthrough thing that's happening with the Wolfram physics stuff as well, which is like giving us a way of understanding, the universe and the nature of reality and observers and all this other crazy stuff. And then like That's the stuff of new religions. This is the stuff of new religions. Like these will be the new religions. Like the people that can, absorb and adapt and adopt these models and learn to utilize the technology and the knowledge in this sort of stuff. This is going to form the basis of like what I think are going to be the new, like the modern religions. It's bonkers. Like this is the sort of stuff that gives, superpowers, so to speak. Like, like this is the stuff that was talked about in mythology kind of thing, like lightning bolts and, like being able to harness the power of, electricity or thunder, Thor, the god of thunder and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, like people are going to have those abilities moving forward. Not like in the same sort of sense, but like, we'll really be able to harness nature, so to speak, or create different, it's just fucking cool shit. Okay, so I've got a little, I'm just going to, because I'm doing this on the fly, I've got some notes, but they're a little bit incoherent. So I'm just going to use ChatGPT to read through some of the paper and talk about some of the stuffs.
Did we elaborate on the atmospheric stuff? Why atmospheric is important? Like why that
Why the
makes a
pressure
difference?
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through
pressure.
the pressure. Yeah, so at ambient pressures, game changer, massive break. It just means you don't have to have all this extra equipment and all these, you don't have to, what it means is you're not trying to, you don't have to create these sort of perfect conditions for it to work. You can just get it to work in like regular conditions on Earth.
Right. So it's just a lot less equipment, a lot more efficient. I understand.
Yeah.
So they were able to solve like two major problems then. Temperature and atmospheric pressure. That's why it's so exciting, because like it's such a huge breakthrough to solve two such immense problems.
Yeah. They've come up with this like, novel way of getting superconductivity without having to do it through the traditional sort of mechanisms that were known.
Yeah.
So the supercooling or the high pressures.
Right.
So it's kind of like there was these two tracks that we knew about and we were trying to really hard to go down these tracks, right? And then these guys have sort of come up and be like, there's another track and it's like easier. Like, it's fucking cool. But okay, so I've got the AI to do this. CU3P, phosphorus used in synthesis process. Okay, cool. Yeah, so essentially it is lead, copper, and phosphorus that they used. Okay, so little summary from AI PDF. Discuss the synthesis of a room temperature superconductor working at ambient pressure with a modified lead apatite LK99 structure. Here's a summary of the key findings and implications. Unlike previous room temperature superconductors that require high pressure, LK99 can function at normal pressure, making it more applicable for daily life devices. Characteristics of LK99. The superconductivity of LK99 is proven through various measurements, including critical temperature, TC, zero resistivity, critical current, critical magnetic field, and the Meissner effect. Yes, we've already gone through that. Okay. Experimental results. Various tests were performed to analyze the superconductivity of LK99, including X-ray diffraction, XRD, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, XPS, electron paramagnetic resonance spectroscopy, EPR, heat capacity and superconducting quantum interference device, SQUID. The data's on page 2. We can have a look at. The critical temperature of LK99 is over 400 Kelvin, and the resistivity was calculated in the order of 10 to the negative 10 and 10 to the negative 11 ohm centimeters. XRD results showed that LK99 is polycrystalline and has a slight shrinkage compared to the lead apatite with a volume reduction of 0.48. Okay, so that's a very important thing. We're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to come back to it in a second with some diagrams. The implications and theoretical insights. The superconductivity of LK99 originates from minute structural distortion by a slight volume shrinkage, not by external factors such as temperature and pressure. So that's what I was just talking about. Is like we knew that you could cool things down and get superconductivity. We knew that we could increase the pressure and get superconductivity. And now they've found this other way, which is like easier, way easier to get the same properties and benefits of superconductivity without having to worry about those two things. The authors argue that stress caused by temperature and pressure brings a minute structural distortion and strain, creating an electronic state conducive to superconductivity. The findings may provide new insights into the correlation between superconductivity and structural changes in materials. That's a big thing to talk about too. Give me a sec. Potential applications and future research. The discovery of LK99 opens up new possibilities for the development of superconducting materials that can operate at room temperature and ambient pressure. The paper hints at the potential for practical applications in various technologies, although specific applications details are not provided in the paper. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so in summary, the paper presents a groundbreaking discovery in the field of superconductivity by synthesizing a room temperature superconductor that operates at ambient pressure. The unique characteristics of LK99 and the insights gained from its synthesis could have far-reaching implications for both theoretical understanding and practical applications of superconductivity. It's just fascinating. So Lennarkite, used as one of the primary components.
How do you think the energy companies are going to try and shut down this technology, guy?
I don't think they will. I think we spoke about something on a pod last week or the week before. I think it was last week, actually. About there's that PSYOP happening with the governments releasing the alien stuff, and now they're going to ban alien technology. And like, if this comes under the banner of alien technology, then the governments might try and ban it. But yeah,
I did hear that. I did hear about that.
Well, yeah. So I think that that might be one possibility, but I'm hoping it isn't. The coolest thing about this is like, you can buy a kiln, or you could buy a smelting furnace, or anything like that for like $160, $180 online. You can achieve the temperatures required to make this, right? You can buy a vacuum pump, which is probably going to be a bit more expensive. You need the to hold it at a vacuum and do it at the same time, but it's possible. So like, backyard scientists, backyard chemists can fuck around with this and sort of make it. So I think it's going to be hard to shut down if it's true. If it actually is replicated or reproducible, then this is huge. It hasn't been done just yet. Like, it hasn't been replicated just yet, but there are many people currently trying to do that.
Let's try and replicate it, guy.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm down, right? But we do have to be pretty careful, because fucking with lead, grinding it up and eating it and doing all that kind of shit is can be fucked up for your health. So you want to be very careful. You want to make sure you're wearing all of the appropriate safety gear. But yeah, it's just fucking cool. So the materials used are essentially like, like lead oxide, lead sulfate, copper, and phosphorus. It's just bonkers.
Okay, so there are 3 elements, but there are 4 components, right? Because one is oxide and sulfide, right?
It's oxide and sulfate, yeah.
Of which one?
Hey?
Of which one? Of the 3 elements?
So you have lead oxide, PbO, lead oxide, PbSO4, lead sulfate, Cu is copper, and P is phosphorus. I know what you mean. It's like lead, copper, and phosphorus, right? But then there's like 2 different kinds of lead.
No, sorry, I'm just trying to understand, and like, I feel like I'm speaking for the other people watching this podcast who are also mad high, like me right now. I'm trying to help them out, guys, for the audience.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just quickly run through like the synthesis method, right? The preparation of Lennarkite, Pb2SO5, is lead oxide and lead sulfate powders were uniformly mixed in a molar ratio of 1:1 and reacted at 725 degrees Celsius for a period of time. And then we have sample synthesis of LK99, Lennarkite, and Cu3P. so that's the copper and phosphorus, were uniformly mixed in a molar ratio of 1:1 and reacted at 925 degrees Celsius for 10 hours under a vacuum of 10 to the negative 5 torr. A dark gray ingot was obtained, which was then shaped into thin cuboids for electrical measurements or pulverized for other analyses. And so, like, yeah, it's a hella kind of basic process to do this.
Yeah, I say we try to replicate it, guy. I say we fudge it, guy. We'll buy the suits like you're talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna need hella suits. So I've got a PDF here real quick, and I'll just share my screen. We can go through and look at a couple of these things. Okay.
Looks like did you mark up the study, guy?
Yeah, this is me writing. What the fuck is a superconducting quantum well?
Yeah, what the fuck is it? That's right. A well. Well, the well is what is allowing for this technology to work, right? It's a different way of going about it.
Yeah. So I don't fully grok this yet, but like I can sort of explain it a little bit. So we'll go down. So yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff for just me highlighting things. These are the graphs that show the superconductivity.
Sorry,
you went hard on the dubs. So yeah, we're not going to go through and read this whole paper on the story, like on our pod. But if anyone wants it, we can link it in the show notes. If anyone wants my janky ass scribbled version, we can also link that. So this is the interesting thing: this volume reduction of 0.48%. I was like, this seems to be key. Why and how? And so there's like, yeah, this is a fascinating mechanism. I'm going to come down to, there's some graphs down here that show it a little bit better. Okay, so here we have, this is like the sort of like high level. If you looked at the structure of LK99, this is what you would see. We can kind of zoom in on this, and you can see that. So you have your PB1, PB2, and then you have the phosphorus around it. Yes. Give me a sec. Back out. Okay. So what we, this is the lead apatite, the LK99 synthesized in quartz tube, and then the LK99 synthesized in the Cu tube. So what you can see is you get this sort of like, you have the same components, right? So you still have like, you got 6 here or 3 of each, and then you've got 3 of each and you've got 3 of each here. But you can see there's this like volume reduction because these things kind of like partner up next to each other. Right. And then apparently this is the crazy thing, is you have this volume shrinkage and stress, which creates these quantum wells that allow the electrons to sort of like use quantum tunneling to like move from one place to another, which is like that lossless kind of vibe, where there's no restriction, there's no friction. If that kind of makes sense. Freaky diagram. Does any of that sort of resonate?
Interesting. What's really interesting about this, Rubes, is that recently, we mentioned this on the last podcast as well. When I brought up the Sean Ryan podcast, how there are certain technologies that companies like try and shut down. The Greer guy I mentioned before, he's been talking about a technology that uses free, it's like a 0 point energy. Do you think that because he's been coming out and whistleblowers have been coming out about that the scientists released this, and this could be part of that technology, that 0 point energy technology?
I don't know, but I don't think so. It definitely, like, if you could get 0 point energy and this happening, game changer. But 0 point energy is harnessing the vacuum energy. This is leveraging quantum wells or quantum tunneling to get that superconducting property. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know if it's because of that. Maybe there is a small influence. Maybe there's none.
It could be a component, right? But it could be, it's possible it could be a component.
Possible it could be a component for sure. I just think this is like, you get enough passionate, interested people together, you allocate that human computation and problem solving and all that, and you collide that together enough and you get amazing results. And like, this is the kind of shit, like, one, it's like, it's possible in our universe. So, we just haven't known how to do this. And then you put enough people together, give them time and energy and some money, and amazing shit can happen. So whether or not that there's a role of like different people talking about different technologies and possibilities that gets people thinking about solutions to this kind of stuff, I'm sure that plays a role to some degree. Whether or not it's the only thing, I doubt. But yeah, like it could be.
I love your attitude about everything, Rubes. You're so fucking positive about everything, and you're so what's the word? When the opposite of pessimistic.
Optimistic. Yeah.
Optimistic. Fuck.
I'm an optimist guy.
I love it, guy. I love it. Fuck yeah.
I'm just going to, there is just a slight more on this PDF that we can go through. So I just want to go down. I have to reread. Yep. Okay, so we're just going to go down to the methods. So, materials and methods. For the sample synthesis of LK99, the general solid-state reaction was used. Lanaarkite and Cu3P were uniformly mixed in a molar ratio of 1:1 in an agate mortar with a pestle. So that's that. The sample was put into a reaction tube, sealed under the vacuum of 10 to the -5 torr, and reacted at 925 degrees Celsius for 10 hours. After the reaction, a grey ignot was obtained reproducibly and then made into the shape of thin cuboids for electrical measurement. For other analysis, it was pulverized and used as the form of powder. The reagent used for the above solid-state reaction was PbO, PbSO4, and Cu and P. So that's your leads, your phosphoruses, your copper, and phosphorus. PbO and PbSO4 powders were uniformly mixed in a molar ratio of 1:1 in an agate mortar with a pestle, and then after the sample was transferred to an alumina crucible, it was reacted at 725 degrees for 24 hours in a furnace. After completion of the reaction, white sample was obtained. It was pulverized with the mortar. That was preparation for lanaarkite PbSO5. That's how they made the lanaarkite. This is the preparation for copper phosphide, Cu3P.
I wonder what they didn't write. Sorry to interrupt. I wonder what they left out of the methods. They probably left out a lot of really important shit, eh?
I don't know if they would have left out a lot of really important shit, because the whole idea of publishing a paper is that it's reproducible to other people, but it's probably like the nuances and the intricacies of the process and like lots of little shit that like you'd only sort of learn by trying to do this like hundreds or thousands of times. So like, I don't know if they would have left out much, but yes, you're right. That's an interesting thing. Like if they may have left stuff out.
I guarantee you they left out mad shit, guy. There's no way I don't think they would be telling people exactly how to do it. They want people to struggle.
Yeah, maybe.
Get it developed, guy. Well, science is mad controlled. That's like one of the issues with science. Like it's a lot more controlled than we're aware of.
Yeah, but these guys are from their own little sort of lab. Like they've got their own little thing. Like they're not like, apparently they're part of Samsung, or they got funded by Samsung in some way, but they're not part of like, university sort of research. They've got people on board who are part of those things, but like, I feel like these guys are kind of like trailblazers in a sense.
But they're funded by Samsung, guy. Samsung is like a massive conglomerate.
Yes, but they like might have just received money from Samsung with some sort of agreement or note, or like, if you do make a breakthrough, then we can buy it, or we can have access to it. I don't know the intricacies of the details. I just don't
trust scientists. Like scientists have the biggest egos. No, Joe, straight up, Rubes. They have the biggest egos. The biggest egos in the world are scientists.
Guy, I don't. Yeah,
guy. No. Hold on. Who has bigger egos than scientists, guy?
Andrew Tate.
No, negative. Fuck that. There are scientists way more egotistical than him.
The Rock. I agree with you. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. But blanket terms like all these people are this or all these people are that, can be useful in some settings, but they're like, oh, the rule is this. Yeah, but there's always the exception to the rule kind of thing. And so like, yes, I agree with you broadly. Like I do tend to think that it is a huge problem, but I also am a perma optimist, and I'm like, these dudes may just be fucking gangsters. And
I know. I took a shot at breaking down that wall, guy. I took my shot.
No, it's good. I honestly, I broadly agree with you. Like it's true. Like, and the egos get in the way of so much progress. Like this is why, traditional science is all about like incremental progress along like these sort of paths. Whereas like the real breakthrough shit comes from like sidestepping and doing an oblique or like a orthogonal thing to that. And I'm like, this is kind of what these guys have done. Like they've gone a completely different track. Like they're not trying to do the low temp or the pressure thing. They're just like, no, let's just try this other way. And apparently they've been working on this for a mad long time, and they've been rejected a bunch of times for other stuff. And now they've just like published this paper. And so, yeah, it's fucking cool shit.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So just quickly, I'll just run over this last little section with this preparing the copper phosphide, the Cu3P. So they use copper and phosphorus powders were mixed in a composition ratio, and the sample was transferred in a quartz tube. The tube was sealed under the vacuum of 10 to the negative 5 torr and reacted at 550 degrees for 48 hours in a furnace. After taken out from the tube, a dark gray ignot was obtained and pulverized. So then they use this, they set up for all their the electrical properties and the measurement, and they go through. So like, it's a very interesting read, this paper. I had to Google a bunch of shit. I had to reread a bunch of shit a bunch of times, but it was actually like really quite informative. I want to go through it another 1 or 2 times so I can like more deeply grasp these concepts and what really happened. But like, it's super cool, and it's actually quite accessible. Like with a decent amount of Googling and some Twittering, you could start to understand this and the process of this quite well. So yeah, fascinating stuff. We'll link the papers. We'll do all that sort of stuff. But yeah, do we want to like...
Who are the 3 names? Who are the 3 future Nobel Peace Prize winners? We should give them a shout out, guy.
Suk-Bai Lee, Jim Hoon Kim, and Young Wan Kwon.
Shit, yo, those guys sound badass as fuck. Yo, shout out to you guys, man. Yo, some 3 scientists with some big dicks right now. All right.
Big balls.
I guess we'll find out how big their balls are. How
exactly.
big that dick is soon.
So it's pretty cool shit. It really is very, very, very cool stuff. And yeah, this volume shrinkage and this superconducting quantum wells is fascinating, and that likely opens the door for a bunch of other stuff that can have huge implications. It's just really, really, really cool stuff.
Guys, so you're back from Bali.
Yes, back from Bali. It was a lovely time.
That was a short trip. Why you only say like a week or less?
2 weeks.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Nice, guy.
That was good. It was lovely over there. It was fantastic, to be fair. I must admit it was a bit of a shock coming back to where I reside because it was incredibly cold and still is incredibly cold. And I must admit, as much as I like the variation of the seasons, I do enjoy a nice warm climate because damn, it's just good for energy levels, and having the sun out is just heaven. You'll notice that I have a slightly darker complexion. I didn't go overboard on the tanning. I didn't want to put my skin cells under too much stress, but I did manage to synthesize a little bit of melanin.
Yo, if you want, guy, I can up the melon on the. I can up the saturation or the color of your face if you want when I edit the video, guy. We can make you look bronze as fuck.
I'm about that real life. I'm not about that fake shit. So I'm down for just committing to having a better tan moving forward, as opposed to having to do it. I want to be I want, if people see you in real life, they're like, oh shit, it's way better in real life than it looks on camera, as opposed to being like, oh, what a disappointment. Like, I'd rather be like disappointing online and then like more impressive in real life, than more impressive online and disappointing in real life.
Shit, guy. Is that why you don't put much effort into your look, guy?
The fuck you? I put heaps. No, yeah, like right, okay. There was a time when I tried to make it. Like I put more effort into that kind of stuff. I make effort in a different way. So like, I make sure I nourish my body. I make sure I have healthy habits in terms of like, exercising and all that kind of stuff. So like, I put effort in that regard, but I don't typically put effort into like the more superficial signaling based stuff where I'm like trying to make myself look pretty or worry about the clothes that I wear or anything else. Like, I can't justify allocating the computational effort and time and energy towards that, if that makes sense.
Sounds like you got to get those semi superconductors in your brain, guy. Then you could have more of those thoughts, more thoughts overall, more thoughts. You would have time. You'd have space for those thoughts, maybe.
Or I could just,
guy, that would be a problem, maybe, guy. Imagine getting a chip in your brain and suddenly you start thinking too much about things you shouldn't be thinking about that were important to you before because you have much more computational power.
Yeah, I'm more down for the path of like outsourcing it to a computer to do that, or like a neural network to do it for me. So like if it can worry about all that, then that's better. Then that frees me up to think about the stuff I really care about. Well, like, okay, my whole thing is like, okay, anyone can look like, decent in clothes, right? Like you can have like pretty trash body or whatever and like not the greatest skin health and quality and all the rest of it. And you can put makeup on, you can wear certain clothes and you can do certain stuff that makes you look a certain way, right? You can sell a vibe or an appearance of yourself. Or you could just look good naked. And I'd much prefer to just look good naked.
Fuck yeah. And I can confirm that Ruben looks very good naked. There is a big sexy body under that sweater. I can speak from experience.
It's holding a few percentage more body fat than I would like at the moment. The winter hoarding has not been kind to me this year as it has previously. But like it's been so fucking cold, man. Oh my god, here. But anyway, moving to a more temperate climate is going to be heaven for me, and I do enjoy like the lifestyle over in Bali is just amazing. Like if you're out of the hustle and bustle up in the jungle, it's just heaven. And like you can literally walk around in like shorts or swimmers and like a singlet or like no singlet, a shirt if you want. Like most of the day, you just have to be mindful, like in the middle of the day when the sun's directly overhead, that the sun is intense. And so like but for me, I prefer to nap at that time anyway. So you get up early, get your stuff going, get your sunlight in your eyes, get all your activity and things done, and then a little afternoon siesta, and then up for the rest of the day.
Fuck yeah, dude. I just remembered there is a place in Bali. Sorry, it's not in Bali. It's near Bali. It's like a couple islands over to the right of Bali. It's called Labuan Bajo. But that sounds like a Spanish name, though. Is this in Spanish? It's near Komodo Island. Have you seen it?
No.
Or like there's an island near Bali where there are Komodo dragons, right? It's like mountainous and very beautiful. Like it's a very picturesque type of place. I haven't gone there, but man, we got to go there, dude. We got to go there. Here, I'll show you a picture, Roots. It's unfucking believable. Can you see it?
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Here it says Labuan Bajo, but that might be the Spanish name because Bajo is a Spanish word, but I don't know. Maybe that's also a word in Balinese. I don't know what they would speak here. Indonesian. They speak Balinese in Bali, right?
Yeah, or Bahasa, I think it is, and then it's Indonesian. It's a version of the Indonesian.
There's a specific picture I want to show you. It's when see where the girl's sitting in this one.
Yeah.
So if you zoom in on this section here, it's breathtaking, bro. That's the best way to describe it. Like the far shots are nice, but there's when you some of the zoomed in shots I saw. Here it is, guy. Look at this. Look at how fucking sick that looks.
Yeah, that is
I
beautiful.
mad want to go there. Yeah. So we should take a trip up there, guy.
I'm down. Let's do it. That's it. That's amazing. Where I was, the sand on the beach was black from the volcanoes. It's quite amazing. Black sand beaches. So not as breathtaking as the white sands, but I think equally beautiful, just in a different way.
I agree. Exactly. Just a different way.
Yeah. But it's just, such a beautiful climate. The people are just lovely. So nice. Like, just lovely people. Great lifestyle. So chill. Just, it's awesome. Big fan.
I agree.
But like my last few days of that trip was spent reading all of this stuff on the superconductors. But it was a beautiful place to read about it. Like, have the iPad out, sunbaking, or like lying in the sun on the sunbed. When you get a little bit too hot, just jump in the pool, cool down. Oh, what a heavenly lifestyle. And I got back here and it was like -5.
You got your bike though, guy.
I got my bike though, guy. Yeah. Need to get it out and about. Okay. So anything else we want to cover with this superconductor stuff? We've done a bit of the implications.
Do you have anything else on it? Did you find anything else?
We could slow down and go into the technical stuff, but I don't know if anyone's interested in any of that. So, maybe we do like a bit of a poll. Like, if anyone watches the video to this far and you would like us to go through and do an idiot's version of understanding this paper, like I'm talking like painfully kind of like in detail so that like us idiots can comprehend and grok this, we'd be open to doing that, be happy to go through it. Like I said, I've already got notes. I've already got a bunch of stuff on it. I got links to all the different elements that we used, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We could put that into a video. We could do it like a bit of a walkthrough for your average idiot to understand this. And so you can sort of think about what it is, how it was done, and then what the implications could be and mean. I think we've done quite a good like high level overview of it, kind of quick like that. But yeah, anything else in regards to this you want to chat about?
Oh, let's call it there, guy.
Call it a pod?
Yeah, that was good, guy.
It was good. So viewers, if you're interested, let us know. We can do an idiot's walkthrough of this. It will cover all the details that you need to understand. Like, what is zero resistivity? What is the critical temperature, TC? Like, what do any of these things mean? Like, what phosphate? What is lead? What is, like we can go through in painful detail or, sufficient detail for an idiot to understand. But yeah, let us know.
All right. Love you, bro.
Love you too, guy. And don't forget, don't subscribe. Don't share it with your friends. And if in doubt, dance it out. Peace, love. Thanks for watching. You speechless?
Peace, bro. No, it's just, I'm so fucked up. I thought you said that part already. The don't subscribe part. I thought we were already past that part, guy.
No. Idiots do it many times. All right. Peace and love. Thank you very much for watching.
Peace, bro.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Later. Bye.